just outside the Commons, which is obviously where Ian Blackford is, having been thrown out. Mr Blackford joins us. That was just a giant stunt, wasn't it, Mr Blackford?
No, it's certainly not a stunt, and I really would respect that people wouldn't put it that way, because this is something actually pretty serious. We're facing a constitutional crisis in Scotland. What happened last night was the Westminster government pushed through a power grab against the Scottish Parliament. The Scottish Parliament, which has existed for 19 years, which is underpinned by the Scotland Act. The Scotland Act made it clear what was reserved, what was devolved. What we faced last night was Westminster taking back control, to use its language, on 24 areas of devolved competency, and it did so without having a debate in Parliament. We were not able to express our opinion and to tell the House of Commons that every party in the Scottish Parliament, with the exception of the Conservatives, the SNP, Labour, the Liberals and the Greens, have refused to give a consent motion to the withdrawal bill. Where is the respect from Westminster towards Scotland? The responsibility that I have, and all my colleagues have, who are here behind me here, is to stand up for the Scottish Parliament and to stand up for the people of Scotland. We cannot stand back and allow this power grab to take place. The government in Westminster needs to recognise that it needs to show respect to the people and to the government of Scotland. This is the same old Tories that have never wanted devolution.
The governments say the powers have to come back to the UK government before they're then passed back on to Holyrood. There needs to be some sort of process, and there needs to be a framework of a single market.
That's just spin from the government. These are areas which are devolved. The Scottish government has made it clear that it will not unreasonably withhold consent to framework agreements. We wanted to reach a compromise with the UK government. It's the UK government that has refused to compromise, not with the SNP, but with the Scottish Parliament and with the people of Scotland. And I will say this to the Conservatives.
Well, the Welsh Assembly have decided
the Scottish Conservatives will pay a price at the ballot
box
for the actions.
You're the outlier, Mr Blackford.
Well, look, I'm afraid that when you look at the reality of the situation, it's not about us being an outlier. It's the fact that ourselves, the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats and the Greens have spoken with a united voice. We will not stand back and allow this power grab against our Parliament that we fought for so long to put in place, that the Conservatives are determined to attack. We're not having it, and we will not stand for it.
But by wrecking PMQs with a procedural stunt, surely that doesn't help the democratic voice being heard. You've had MPs being called, and you've left the chamber, and you can't actually even make the point right now in PMQs.
Not at all.
They could be answering Prime Minister's questions.
I have to say, we haven't wrecked Prime Minister's question. It's the government that's wrecking the powers of the Scottish Parliament, and we were not given the respect and the dignity of being able to speak in debate last night. The government pushed through the change to legislation without debate. What are we supposed to do? We had to use that opportunity today to say to the Prime Minister, bring forward emergency legislation. She refused, and quite legitimately, I sought to divide the House. I was entitled to do so under standing orders. I was using the powers which are granted to us under standing orders to do that. What we've done is right, is proper, and I'm proud that myself and my colleagues have stood up for Scotland today, as will continue to do so.
And when will you resume your seat? When you're let back into the Commons? Are you going to go back into the Commons, the tail between the legs tomorrow?
I missed the question, unfortunately. I think the earpiece has come.
Seat in the Commons. Are you going to go back in, or is the SNP boycotting the Commons now?
No, we're not boycotting the Commons. The fact of the matter is that our voices are not being heard. I was sent out the Commons today. I want to be in Parliament and to make sure our voices are heard, and I'll make this commitment to the Conservative government. They'll be hearing from the SNP.
Ian Blackford, thank you very much for joining us, having left the Commons. Let's bring in our Prime Minister's Questions panel. We actually have another SNP MP.